this morning. We also have the blessing of finding out how God is at work among us. We'll be receiving a new member in just a little bit, and we will be gathered here to find out what God is doing among us from our congregational president this morning with an update. And so, without any further words from me, I want to invite our congregational council president, Buzz Busboom, to give us our quarterly update. Thank you, Buzz.
Thank you, Jerry. This is your quarterly update from the council, and it's in keeping with our commitment to have an open line of communication with the congregation about everything that we're endorsing and everything that you're doing. Your commitments of time, talent, and treasure are amazing, I'll have to say, and I'll try to highlight them in a few short minutes here. We're going to celebrate a few things that have happened this last quarter, and we're going to anticipate some of the things we have coming forward. In terms of the time that you folks put in, we had an amazing single service Sunday when everyone worshiped together, and then we had over a dozen activities that everyone participated in, and that was it's just a good thing to be part of, in my opinion, and I hope you feel the same way. We also very recently had a planting weekend where some of you, not me, went out and actually did work and put over 100 plants into the ground. So this was the culmination of a very long project that started with cutting down diseased trees, pulling out dead plants, just revitalizing the landscaping overall, and we topped it off with your efforts to put in new foliage that will serve us well for many years to come. And of course, then we also had the extravaganza. It's quite a name. Last year, you may recall, we celebrated having over 70 people participate in this spring festival. I thought that was pretty good. But this year we had like 95 volunteers. I mean, look at all those blue shirts. It was amazing. Could we go back to the time slide? Thank you. We're going to have another single service Sunday in the summer, and it'll be based on fellowship. So it'll not only be worshiping together all services, but also a major fellowship event that we can all participate in. I look forward to that. I want to plug the Vacation Bible School. Again, this year we're going to have 2 sessions, and day and evening, and we're going to serve many hundreds of kids, and of course that takes volunteers. So I encourage you to get a hold of Stephanie Dozier, and volunteer. Spend some time. Come out and help those kids be exposed to the Word, be exposed to the grace that comes with knowing Jesus Christ. And another thing we can anticipate is the 70th anniversary of this church. When we have our annual meeting this fall, we're also going to be celebrating that 70th anniversary. So please keep that in mind. Let me talk about talent for a minute. I mentioned the extravaganza. I want to re-mention it because it was quite an event. And this is a slide I stole from Jennifer's after action and volunteer appreciation. The day the Lord made for us included snow. So this is a desert, so if it's snowing in April, we should be grateful. And I think we were. But I was also grateful that the talent involved in putting this thing together included a backup plan, an inclement weather plan. And by golly, we got to test it because we certainly weren't going to be outdoors. It was snowing. Nancy Wong told me a story. She was answering the phones during that period of time, and she got a phone call from a person who doesn't go to this church, and he was in his car and he had his kids, and he had been to 2 venues to take his kids Easter egg hunting or whatever they call it at the other place, and they were closed. They saw the snow and they quit. We didn't. She said, bring your kids on down, and they showed up, and it was great because he had a place to take his children, and it was here. And we're really grateful for that kind of talent we have here that can see those things through. I also want to mention Holy Week. The work that has been done by our pastors to really honor the Triduum and the 3 days leading up to Easter, those 3 liturgical services leading up to Easter are just astounding. It's really great. I always try to invite a guest. I did this year. I do every year. I get those little cards that are printed and I hand them out. And I just see who I can drag into church here. And I had a guest this year, and she listened to the wonderful music of the choir, just absolutely astounding. And the instruments played by mostly people from this congregation, and she comes from a congregationalist background, which is pretty austere in their way of worship. And we were leaving, and she said, "That's some really high church you have here." And I said, "Yeah, it's that way every week." She knew better, but you know, sometimes you have to embellish the moment. So I did. The other thing I want to mention is that over the past 20 years, we have 3 members of our congregation who have been called to the ministry and gone through the studies and the dedication to become pastors, to become ministers. And I was reflecting with Pastor Jerry in preparation for this, and at this moment, right now, we have 6 members of this congregation who are in some stage of preparing to enter the ministry. 6. What a great church we have to have that kind of a call come to the congregation and to be answered. It's tremendous. The person who is furthest along is Pam Lewis, and she will be ordained right here next week at the 5 o'clock service. So I encourage all you folks who worship on Sunday to take an extra moment next week to come on Saturday and celebrate Pam's ordination. And to the other folks who are at some stage in their journey, God bless you. Keep working on it. It's great. I couldn't get through an update without mentioning the facilities and the great work that's been done there. After almost 18 months, I promise you we're going to get a new sign on Spain. And this is a tale of perseverance, because your facilities task force is actually seen through an incredible amount of bureaucracy to get to that point. And then finally, on talent, I want to talk about the council itself. We'll be presenting on June the 1st, Sunday, during what is usually the adult education hour. We will have a church governance seminar, or forum, I should say, where we sit down with you and explain how the council works, how the governance of this church takes place. And I think it's very important. So you'll see that in the announcements coming up, so please pay attention to that. No update would be complete without a word about treasure. In other words, the gifts that you give. We had a great quarter. It's the 5th quarter of all in. Over $500,000 of your contributions were recorded. That's terrific. We are right at 120% and have been for several quarters now, which is just a marvelous result. And I thank you, every one of you, for making those contributions. It makes everything else possible, of course. Mission, service, improvement to the facility. It's very worshipful to receive those gifts. If you look at our projection for the entire all-in period, 25 months, we felt we should be able to come up with $3,878,000, and we're going to do that, but we're going to exceed that by a considerable amount. And I really look forward to the end of this calendar year, when we can say that we've accomplished so much, including, I hope, in the end, a significant debt reduction. We'll see how that goes, but boy, we're truly on track. So here ends the quarterly update. I appreciate you listening to the update, and if you can contact any council member for information, or you can track me down, and I'd be glad to discuss any of these topics. I'd ask you to allow me to close in prayer. Father in heaven, bless this assembly of believers who do good works in your name and freely give of their time, talent, and treasure. Lead them forward on the Jesus-shaped path and give them the strength to fulfill ever stronger commitments to glorify your name. I pray this in the name of your Son, Jesus the Christ. Amen. Thank you.
Thank you, Buzz.